Hey, this is Team Silverback back with
Matt Beck,
who did.
third place at the Hartford Regional.
Oh God, yes! Right off the YCS, got a nice play mat. What'd you play?
Mitsurugi Ryzeal.
All right, let's get into it.
So we got 3x Ryzeal, staple, like gonna eventually get into 1, but we have 3. We play 3. It's the best starter. Then I play 3 ice. Some Mitsurugi builds don't play 3, but I think it's just another insane starter. And I think like you still just have to max out on it.
Yeah, worst case is extender 2, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then 1 sword, 1 node. I did kind of want to play the second sword, but it didn't really come up that often. So it was just fine. Put the 1 really. Then we got 2 Amino and Futsu for the Mitsurugi. I've seen some people cutting this or cutting this down to 1, but I think you need all of this. Like, it just helps your grind game to have like multiple names. And in case this gets Bisteel, it's helpful to have a second one, right?
Yeah.
And then we got 2 Saji. 2's enough. Like, third one never really comes up.
So is your game plan kind of to normal summon ice instead of these?
I mean, I'm fine with either one, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
you know, I feel like if I'm normal in either of those, I'm already like in a decent spot. So,
Okay.
yeah, the only reason you don't play 3 is like you don't really need that many normal summons, because if you have like 3 ice, 3 of this, it's like a bit much.
Yeah, clog.
Yeah. But then Kusanagi, and I play the Sword Serpent. I drew this card like 6 times, but I still think you kind of have to play this card. It just lets you like get into Duo Drive with only Mitsurugi engine, which happens like quite often. There was like probably 2 or 3 games that I only won because I had this to get me to like Ryzeal engine to actually like full combo with just Mitsurugi cards.
Yeah.
So it gets sided out going second every game, but it's still like worth playing, you know. Then for hand traps, Ash, Nib, Valor, Droll, Imperm. Very, very standard 15 hand traps. I don't have Fuelis anymore. I've sold those, so I just put Drolls in instead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I was Stroll in the main.
I kind of underperformed. I played against enough Malice, and I saw it every time against Malice, and didn't see it in other matchups it was good against. So
Okay.
that's just how it goes sometimes. But,
Yeah. So those would be Fueloses if you had them still.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we've got 3 bonfires. Yeah, just broken. This card's going to 1 next list. At least I hope so. Then we have 3 ritual spell, 3 prayers. Like, it's kind of non-negotiable. You have to play like all these. Just
I've seen Ritual Spell it too, but maybe you just want it for the grind. And
yeah, you just want to open this card. Like, opening X with this card is just like really strong, because even if like they hand trick you multiple times, you're still getting somewhere.
Yeah, it's a bomb card.
Like,
End of the day.
And you slide down to 1 of it post side going second, but
Oh, yeah.
it's still like, I think 3 is still really important. You just want to see it going first. And then we have Cross. No explanation needed. Every Ryzeal deck plays it, pretty much. And then I've played a few 1-0 spells. Prosperity just lets you dig for whatever engine piece you need. So, and then I played Called By to be able to out Fuelos and hand traps and stuff. And then a 1 of Talents. I just like Talents a lot. Talents is one of my favorite cards. And I figured I can put the deck up to 43 and play a Talents in my main deck.
Okay.
That would be pretty good. And Talents went crazy. Talents was broken. So
Yeah. Can't break if you just play 1 too.
Yep. And on to extra deck. 2 duo drives. Second one definitely comes up a lot. You usually actually send the second one off of X to play around Bisteel and Nib.
Yeah.
Because you can just go straight into duo drive, attach the other one, and then search cross, and you're protected from Nib, you're protected from Bisteel. So 2 duo drive, very important. 2 detonator. I don't think I really need to explain. Like, you play 2 in every single list. 2 twin. Second one didn't come up, but still, like, it definitely can come up. So I think playing 2 is worth it. 2 imps. Some lists, like most lists, I see only play 1 of it. The second one didn't actually come up at the regional, but it definitely has in other games. And there wasn't really another card I wanted over this. Like, you could argue it could be Tornado Dragon or Cowboy, but I didn't really miss either of those cards. So
Yeah, just play faster, right?
well, there were a couple games that go to time, but
Okay.
I still won like in those situations. So then we had Dweller, Exciton, Dugaris. All these cards came up. All these cards are really good. Like,
How many times did you draw Lancia?
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the rest of those really good. Then we got Typhon, Aggregator. I think Typhon came up once, and then Aggregator, of course, for the X. It comes up a lot of times. Right? And then last two cards were Lizardos. I made this card like 6 times because I would have Nibiru and just be able to like link it off, make this, and then special summon X Ryzeal, and like draw one first, and then special X Ryzeal. So like pretty good. And then last card was Herald the Arclight because I side deck Ultimate Slayer against Blue Eyes, and I also wanted to, in theory, if I played against a mirror match that was playing Nadir Servant, I had this for their Maximus. So that didn't come up, but it would have been cool in theory, and there was space. So.
Was there any extra deck cards you missed? Because it seems like it's kind of like not too tight. You have a couple
you could you could put Tornado Dragon in. I didn't really miss it, but you could put it for the Blue Eyes matchup. It's not bad. Or like Cowboy, if you're scared of time, you can put Cowboy in. Those are really the only two. Like Baguska is another card you could play, but I don't think it's really that good right now. It doesn't really do anything against Malice, and against like Blue Eyes, it's not the greatest card either. That gives some applications, but yeah, I don't think Baguska is very good right now. So for side deck. Lancia is the god card against Malice. I opened triple Lancia one of my games against Malice, and I resolved all 3 of them because my hand was also a brick. And so the game went, activate Lancia, he passed his turn, I normal summon Kusanagi, attack for damage because we were getting to like 2 minutes left for time, pass, his turn, I Lancia him again, he passes again, I attack with Kusanagi again, and then I third Lancia him, and then it's just game at that point.
Yeah.
Because he didn't draw anything. So... I think by the 3rd turn he drew a Bestial. I think the 3rd draw he had a bit cheeky, so he chained Bestial. But at that point it was too late.
Yeah, he already did damage.
So I played Phantasme. This card was actually pretty good. Like against Malice and against Blue Eyes, like you get a lot of value off of this card. And I didn't have the Charmy, the Meows, so I felt like this would be a decent alternative.
Do you ever get to target protect against Malice? Not really, right?
It didn't come up any of my games against Malice this event, but you know it definitely could. I used it to link off into Lizardos a lot of times. Like every time I summoned it, I made Lizardos, I drew one, and I summoned X Ryzeal, just popped off. Like,
yeah.
Then I played 3 Perulias. I sold these, so I do not have them anymore, but there were 3 Perulias in my deck. I think I didn't even resolve it all tournament. I think I drew it only one time against one of the Ryzeal matchups, and he ashed it, so you don't even really need it.
Yeah.
And then I played 2 copies of Ultimate Slayer. This one in against the Ryzeal matchups and against Blue Eyes. Resolved it a couple times. It was pretty solid. 2 more copies of Talents for going first. Like it could have been Solemn Strikes or another going first card, but I think Talents is just a really strong card, especially with how many hand traps everybody's on. And so I just wanted 3 copies of my deck to be able to hand rip them if they hand trap me.
I think the type of deck this is too, it makes it extra good.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Talents is actually that good in Malice going first, but like you're the kind of deck that you can play through.
You have a lot of extenders
traps
you can draw into off of it if you need to draw, and then you can usually like play through one hand trap. So when they if they Veiler you, right, you just Talents rip their hand. Hit, like if they have 1 starter, you rip their starter, the game's just over.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
yeah, you can eat hand traps with this type of deck.
And then I played Trap for going first because you don't really want it in the main deck. I don't think most of the time. It's just another brick you're adding to your deck, but it's very powerful. Going first is worth having in your deck, but I don't know if it's worth main decking. I think if you're playing more board breakers, you kind of have to main deck this card because you're not going to have hand traps to back up your board. But when you're playing hand traps, you don't necessarily need this as much. If you have a couple hand traps to back up your board, you should never really be losing. So, and then Feather Duster, this card went insane as well against Blue Eyes. Yeah, this card just does a lot against them. You hit the True Light and they lose their board, and it's just
they lose their grind and their board.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
And that's the list. Shout outs to, of course, Team Silverback, everybody, Matt behind the camera, Dan, Trey, Johan, Shaq, everybody else. You guys are always on Discord with me, testing and talking theory. So, and a huge shout out to Johan, especially for convincing me to even go to this event because I wasn't going to go to this regional.
You're like, I'm done playing until Rarity comes out.
Yeah, I'm going to take a break until Fuelis gets that reprint, and then Johan was pestering me to show up. So I was like, all right, I'll show up for you, Johan, and I managed to get 3rd place.
Yeah,
so,
you don't need it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, just win.
All right, that's about it.
All right.